Hello everyone, Terry here, making a comeback after a bit of an absence, with the exception of my somewhat windy footage of Ruthven Barracks in Scotland from a week or so ago, just before the lockdown occurred. So we were fairly fortunate we got the holiday. We had actually booked for like about 8 months before, when we thought this might have all been pretty much winding down, but fortunately we just got back into England on the Monday, and then everything kicked off on Wednesday night. So hopefully we'll get back up there again at some point. But I've been very interested in the ancient world, specifically because of the availability of figures, the ancient Egyptian army, and I decided to go for my usual manufacturer, New Line Miniatures, and I ended up purchasing two complete armies, £39.50 each, and they're quite good. You get 4 chariots, you get a pharaoh, and you get approximately 50 or so figures per side. And just to give you an example here of the Egyptian range, as I say, the chariots are the standard chariots used by the Egyptians. You're going to need some, to purchase some more in order to make it a historically accurate or balanced force. But yeah, I mean, they're actually they're very nicely done. I'm very pleased with the level of sculpting. Got a section here which is basically archers and drivers, and as I say, you can buy everything individually, but I haven't a great knowledge of this period, or indeed any period for that matter, and I need all the help I can get. So I went for this, as I say, reasonably balanced army. Chariot archer there. You can see that. I mean, the segmented armour is really quite well picked out in what is 20mm. I've got a feeling they'll paint up quite well. The only opposition available, in the terms of buying a complete army, was the Hittites, which for all practical purposes means the Battle of Kadesh. So if you were really going to go for a balanced force, you would, as I say, have to really pick up some more chariot figures. This is the infantry arm. You've got some axemen. They all, will look quite good in a sort of phalanx. The Egyptians there with their trademark kind of groin guard shield. As I say, I've got a reasonable amount of detail on there, quite nice facial detail, and within reason you could go for a multitude of colours there. I mean, I've got a Blandford book on the ancient world, and there's a lot of reds, greens and blues, and stripes, and it's possible to actually mix them up a little bit and do something that's really very pleasing to the eye. I think they're reasonably historically accurate, but certainly in terms of appearance, you could do quite well. There's a standard bearer figure there, which is again Plenty of reference for these figures, of course, slightly less for the Hittites, who seem to have slipped away from history a little bit. You know, not quite the same kind of popularity as the Assyrians, for example, but that essentially is your main infantry. Plenty of archers, of course, it being an Egyptian army. And going over to the Hittites, who were I think in the vicinity of Turkey, or on the borders of Turkey. And I've got quite a fascinating documentary from PBS, Public Broadcasting Service, of the Hittites, and it's otherwise quite expensive to buy, but I happened to chance upon it, was able to make a copy of it, and it's very well done, and it gives you as much information as you're going to get anywhere really on the Hittites. And a sort of trademark ponytail there. Again, looks like a if not a king, then certainly a priest. But fairly good amount of detail for 20mm. I mean, that's quite pleasing, really. I mean, that's you know, you've got the pleasure of painting metal figures. You haven't got any of the amount of flash that's associated with, in general, with plastic figures. The Hittite chariot looks altogether more basic. There's going to be a couple of sides on it there, but it's bordering on a sort of Sumerian chariot, really. But they were two armies that were heavily into chariot warfare, and the Battle of Kadesh was very much the divisions of Ramblesis' army and the Hittite king, who I can't recall now the name of, but that they very much clashed in terms of chariotry. It was I believe a draw, more or less, the battle. This is Pharaoh with that pharaonic cap or helmet, which would be usually picked out in blue. Strangely enough, in the Osprey book of the Battle of Kadesh, there's a number of pictures from the Hollywood film, Charlton Heston, Ben-Hur film, and they have, you know, unusually put that in a reference book, because you know, apparently the detail that Hollywood captured was fairly accurate on this occasion, including the fairly lightweight Egyptian chariots. But certainly here you've got a very good representation of a pharaoh with the Egyptian curved sword, and quite enjoyable to paint. But as I say, I'd fully intended, I got all the reference books. I actually picked up quite a number of books, a lot of the Osprey books. I remember having a lot of the Osprey books, including some illustrated by Angus McBride, and I sold them or passed them on, and I had to purchase them again. And one book that wasn't Osprey was Siege Warfare, which turned out to be quite a good buy. It's very, very graphic in its descriptions of some of the aftermath of siege warfare, but a particularly brutal type of warfare at the time, with you know, no quarter given. If you initially refused the enemy's terms, and they had to take the city, by storm, there was a considerable amount of payback. So I picked up a number of books, but because I was in Scotland, I obviously became enthused with the Jacobite Rebellion again. Hence my, as I say, very windy. I think the winds are up to about 80 miles an hour, so there wasn't much narrative, but I did a post on Ruthven Barracks, one of the British barracks established in response to Jacobite unrest. And I purchased this while on a holiday, on Amazon I should say. I ordered it, it was waiting for me when I came home. Rebellious Scots to Crush, which is a line in the second or third verse of God Save the Queen. Not too often alluded to now for obvious reasons. And this is a From Reason to Revolution book, and it's quite detailed in terms of the organisation of the British Army at that time, and what forces were available to repel Bonnie Prince Charlie. It's fascinating point to ponder if he hadn't have turned back at Derby as he did, and yeah, I think personally, given the lack of Jacobite sentiment in England, he was probably going to lose heavily wherever he chose to fight. But got to 120 miles from London, and elected, or his officers elected for him to turn back. Another book is Jonathan Oates' Battles of the Jacobite Rebellions, which goes back to 1689 and Killiecrankie. Very good book again picked up from Amazon. There's a book which has not yet been released, which is going to detail sieges of the Jacobite rebellions, including a section on Ruthven Barracks, which was besieged twice. But as you can see, we're looking at 1688-89 through to Culloden, and yeah, I mean it's quite a fascinating book, and I've just skimmed over it at the moment, but once again my head has started spinning, and I've gone from one subject to another. I was collecting the Italeri plastic battle sets and intended to make a bit of a go of one or two of those, and then I got to thinking about getting back into metal again, new line miniatures, and was fully committed to that. Purchased a number of books, but as I say, the holiday, which we managed to squeeze in before, well, we didn't know there was going to be a lockdown, but we got back into England with a few days to spare, and I've come back with a determination to start where I left off with my new line miniatures Jacobite Rebellions, and I haven't painted for quite an awful long time, but probably since about May, just around about the time my mother died, and we had a tremendous upheaval here of having to clear her flat, and so I kind of lost it. I had that paint block that several people talk about. I think Ralph has commented on it in the past, and gradually getting back to some kind of level playing field. Been quite stressed out really, as we all have with events, but particularly with personal situation, and I got that the torch was lit again, as I say, going up to Scotland, Culloden, Ruthven Barracks, and weather wasn't great, of course, but we knew that. A lot of things closed down, but shops for my wife and children, and indeed for myself, to be honest, were still up and running, and we were able to eat up there quite easily with certain restrictions. And yeah, I've come back with a determination to, in a very small and slow way, try to finish off my Jacobite collection. I know I've said countless times before what I'm going to set off and do, and haven't done it. You know, I've been a bit scattered, to be honest, but been watching a lot of the videos that have still been coming through from you guys, and still finding the hobby very rewarding, not just from, you know, an interest as a hobby, but as a therapy. It's great to watch all you guys, what you're doing, what you're producing, and it's certainly lifted me and kept me going. And as I say, I intend to get back into this. So let's see what we can do. And good to be back, and good to be back with the mojo going again. You know, back into the mood of actually lifting up a paintbrush, and indeed just making these posts. You know, for a long time I just didn't want to do anything, but great, good to go now, guys. Hope you're all well, and hopefully at some point we'll get all this misery behind us and pick up somewhat from where we left off. But anyway, let's make the best of it. Okay, thanks, bye.